Now, last night, Pops talked a little bit about the cosmos, right? He talked about what there was a thing in there. Don, do you have yours from last night? Yeah, let me hold that real quick. The first statement that Doc Cottle made. Which one was it, Don? Yeah, here it is. He is yeah, exactly. Any page, just drop your finger and it'll be good. That he is the one from whom we get everything instead of the one whom we give everything. And as he was saying that, it reminded me of a few things. But this is the context. Now listen to me. This is the context of what we're going to do today. We've got some folks here that are going to talk to us about the political realm. We got some folks that are going to talk to us. So when we talk about Ekklesia, does everybody know what Ekklesia means? Just raise your hand if you've heard the term before. If you've been around him long enough, you've heard the term. So you know what Ekklesia, Jesus said, on this rock I will build my Ekklesia, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it, okay? So an Ekklesia is not an institution. It's not the building that we sit in. An Ekklesia is a political people. Now watch this. In this time, in Matthew 16's time frame, so you can't take you can't take any word out of its context and grasp the meaning of the word. So if I said Caleb's shoes are bad, if I take you back 100 years, it means something different than it means today. Is that right or wrong? So context determines meaning. So we have to get into Jesus's mindset where he was, not where we are, but where he was. And then we have to know whom he was speaking to in order to understand what he was trying to say. Is that making sense still? So when he said, he made it really, really personal. And where he was at, the Bible says this. The Bible says he came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi. And I think I did this at Dr. Peterson's church a couple of years ago. The coast of Caesarea Philippi was a specific place. And when he stood up on the craggy rock, there was a cave behind him. I'm trying not to preach, but I'm still a Pentecostal boy, so I'm just going to hold it down. There was a cave behind him, and from this cave, the context of society in that day, they believed that all of hell came from this cave. Now watch this. There was a stream on the backside of it, and they would bring sacrifices into the stream and ask, quote unquote, the gods, if this is a good thing or not, and if the gods received their sacrifice, they believed their sacrifice sunk to the bottom, and if he didn't receive it, it stayed floating on the top. But in that day's society, they believed that this was the gateway of all of hell's entities into the earth. So when he stood in that place and said, now you got to know who he's talking to, right? He's gathered these fishermen, these business guys, these figures that came out of the city, and he said, I'm going to build something. Right? So when he said, I am going to make myself a personal ecclesia, they got what he meant. So an ecclesia is a political group, now watch this, that took the culture of Rome to an unculturized territory. And they made that territory look like Rome. Are you with me? So they didn't send immature people into an ecclesia, right? They didn't do that. There was certain criteria that had to be met for you to be called into this ecclesia. But the ecclesia's job, its job was expansion. Everybody say expansion. Its job was expansion. And so what was the ecclesia meant to expand? It was meant to expand whatever it had come from. Whoever the sender was, I took the sender's context into the place and the people by which I've been sent. And that's the word apostellos. That's what an apostle is. And it's easy to get this thing mixed up, right? Because in the church context, in our institutional context, we think we have thought and we have been taught that an apostle is a hierarchy of some sort. But all it really means is sent on a mission. And that's what an ecclesia is. And in this context now, in this context that Jesus was talking to his men, he told them, I am going to build an ecclesia. And this is what they're going to do. So they got it. They got it. Now, did he say anything about institutions and sticks and bricks and temples? Did he say anything about hierarchies of how we were going to set up our I'm trying to be easy, John, but it's coming. So anyway, let me just leave it right there. That's what an ecclesia is. An ecclesia is the extending arm of a governmental culture into a region or a territory that doesn't have what we have back here. And they brought water. Now watch me. They brought water systems. They brought road systems. They brought money and commerce systems. They brought everything from Rome. So if we're his ecclesia, stay with me now. What is the culture that we are bringing? What is our assignment? So everybody, I'm assuming everybody in the building has seen somewhat 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not an artist. Don't laugh at me. I'm not an artist. I was an electrician, so I'm not an artist. You guys heard about the 7 mountain mandates. So what we learned last night was Jesus is due the earth. Am I still tracking with y'all? He's due the earth. So what does that actually mean? If he said, I'm going to build a personal ecclesia, then all of these spheres of influence have to be culturized by whom? By whom is he? Now, let me ask you this question because we're all church folk. Is Jesus coming back to put his stamp on the governmental mountain? Can you hear my head rattling? No. How is he going to reign according to 1 Corinthians 15? How does he reign until all his enemies are made his footstool? How does Jesus reign? Through the extension of his body. Are you still with me? When you got engrafted into him by faith, you became part of he. And you are the extension. You are the hands and the feet of him in your sphere. Now watch me. Now watch this. I'm not a politician. Am I, Alan? No, I'm not a politician. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not a politician. I'm way too prophetic to be a politician. So watch this. I know that my ground or my mountain is not the political mountain. And so if just because Jesus needs to reign over the political mountain doesn't mean it's Darrin's job to go into politics. Is that making sense still? Now, but it does mean that our community that we have in the building right here, this what we call a coalition of men and women, has to have somebody or some ones, plural, that go, I feel as though this is my sphere. Now watch this. I'm going to take you all the way back to Genesis. God created a man, and I've got notes and stuff, but I'm just trying to lay something from last night, so I want to make sure you get it, because where we're going today, that's my job, okay? So give me a few minutes, and I'm going to lay some framework. God created a man, and he called him Adam. You still with me? And that Adam, God reached down into the red clay called Adamah and framed this man of Adam. Now watch this. When you see the word land, L-A-N-D in the Old Testament, 9 times out of 10, it's Adamah. It's a very specified ground. And God gave Adam the Adamah because he was taken from that. Now, you guys stay with me, and I'm going to show you this thing. Now, Adam's ground of dominion is his Adamah. God never intended for Adam to stay in a box. He made a gate eastward of Eden so that the Adamah, he said, I'm going to let you take it all over the Eretz, the earth. Right? But you can't get the earth until you can control the Adamah. That's why he said, don't let them in here. I need you to take dominion and have rule. Don't let anybody come into the Adamah. Now, here's what I want to say to you. I have an Adamah. I'm an Adam in a sphere. Y'all still with me? Am I making sense at all? You guys shake your head if I'm making sense. I am an Adam in an Adamah. Now, not one person is an Adam in every sphere of influence. God doesn't frame us like that. He doesn't frame us like that. That's why Jesus said, I'm going to build an Ekklesia, because a community of believers lock arms, and what I'm not good at, you're good at, and it makes me better at being me. And it makes you better at being you. I know how to make money. Guarantee you. I know how to make money. You give me $1, I'm going to turn it into 100 pennies, and I'm going to multiply every penny. That's what I've been doing since I was in the 2nd grade. I'm good at that. Not many better. But you don't put me into a political arena, I'm going to tear some stuff up. I'm just being real with you. I'm going to tear some stuff up. Now, I've got graces on my life, but I'm old enough and smart enough to realize, here's what we've done. Now I'm going to do this, okay? Here's what we have done. And Pops brought a little bit out of it last night. And I'm going to finish this in just a second, but let me tell you what we've done. We have normally, in our institutional mindset of the church, we've taken people that have graces, that has anointings. And we have said, if you're going to serve God and be used by God, I need you to figure out in this building how to function. Now, if I'm just going to use the people that I know, okay? If Tom Brady was in my church, I don't really need him at Sunday morning service. Not when he's making $45 million a year throwing a football. You still with me? So, I asked someone the other day, I said, so, Apple's coming to Raleigh, right? Apple's coming to Raleigh. They're building, I think they're dropping $1 billion or $2 billion. It's a large number. And so I was asking someone the other day, I said, so how does Apple come from the West Coast to the East Coast and maintain their culture? Stay with me. How? Because they send people with them as an Ekklesia. And they say, I need to send 25 people from California to Raleigh, North Carolina, and I need you guys to institute our culture. Because all they're building is sticks and bricks and steel. But what they're instilling is Apple's culture from California. Did y'all hear me? Does anybody in Raleigh think that Apple's not going to be Apple when they get here? It's going to be the exact same culture in Raleigh as it is in California. How does that work? Because they send an Ekklesia beforehand. You get it? Does that make sense? So what we've done in our institutional models is we've taken the person with the grace gift and we try to get them into what we know instead of releasing them into what they're good and great at. You hear what I'm saying? Right? Now, I can preach, pray, and prophesy with the best of y'all. I'm good at it. I'm good at it. If you told me I need you to pastor this church for the next 30 years, somebody's going to get their feelings hurt because I'm not good at that. I'm not good at sitting in a box, right? And what does that mean? That means that we have to be big enough in the Ekklesia to understand gift sets and how they function outside of what we have already known and what we have already become. Because the walls and the institutional models that we've built for ourselves has crippled the Ekklesia. It is two dynamics, two separate entities. Jesus never said, I'm going to build an institution. Every religious spokesman of his day hated him. Every religious spokesman of his day had a problem with how and who he was. Are we against the institution? We're not against the institution. We're against what the institution has become and the crippling effect it has had on our feet. It's had on our feet. And in order for us to do what we need to do in the 7 spheres of influence, we've got to get our feet in our societies. Are y'all still with me? Am I making anybody mad? Or y'all okay? All right? Is that good? So we have some folks here today that are going to talk to us about political arenas and how they're putting their feet in those arenas. We have somebody here today that's going to talk to us about the financial arena and how he's putting his feet in that arena. Are you still with me? Like, here's one of the things that I want us to break free from. I want us to break free from what we thought worked. We only do this in our institutions. The stuff we repeat over and over and over again that doesn't work. In the business world, we can't do that. We go belly up. But we'll repeat the pattern in our institutional models over and over and over and over again for 50 and 100 and 200 and 2,000 years. And if I really had time, I would take you through the model of the institution that we have and where we got it from. It came from the Catholic Church. But I'm going to leave that for another time. But what I really want us to get as a community, now listen, we have to build a community of a coalition together that we're all doing our part in making the Ekklesia palatable in our communities. Now, Marvin is from Hamlet, North Carolina. It's a little town that my mother grew up in. I can't have an impact in Hamlet because I'm not there. I don't have feet there. But I can connect with Marvin. Are y'all hearing me what I'm saying? I can't move to Pasadena, Texas, where John's at. But I can connect with John and we can lock arms and my grace gets on him and his grace gets on me and he's bigger and then I become, is that making sense? That's this. That's what we're doing in this building. That's why we bring people together like this. That's why we bring people together like this so that we can hear from people who know about this political realm and know about this financial realm and know about this book. Listen, the Bible, and I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish right now. I got a lot more to say, but I'm going to wrap my stuff up. The Bible is a life book. Jesus' teachings were a life teaching. But even more than that, we have to get into the mindset that he deserves the earth that he created. This is why he came back. This is why he came here. It's to undo what's been done but he only reigns. He's only going to reign in the earth through a man. There's a principle in Genesis 1:1 that he said, let us make man in our own image and let him have it. Let him have the dominion. Is everybody still tracking with me? So that's a principle that is etched in eternity. When Elohim spoke something, that principle was etched in. If you work in this earth, you have to have a body. You've got to have a sark's flesh suit in order to work in this earth. So Jesus' reign is going to come through your hands and feet. I think if we can break the model of, I'm called and God's anointed me, I'm going to take the city. I have never, ever seen that work. I've never seen that work. I've never seen it succeed. But if we can say, I'm called and I'm anointed, how do I connect with the arms of the people in the city? I want our coalition to be a community of people that don't think like we think on every subject. Now stay with me now, because I'm laying this down for us. I'm a red-blooded Republican, right? Conservative. But that's not the end-all, be-all, and I'm smart enough to realize that if somebody is not, and they don't vote like me or think like me, that I don't kick them out of my world. If a man's a Muslim and has wisdom, am I okay? Are y'all still with me? Then we need to be together if we're going to build communities. We have to do this together if we're going. If he's Hindu and I'm a Holy Ghost Pentecostal, and he or she has something of wisdom that I can take, then let's get this thing together and not go, well, you don't believe like me. Well, you voted Democrat, so I'm out. We can't walk together. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'm done with that whole scene. I'm done with that whole scene. So if you hear something today that doesn't suit your bill, just chill. Just chill, because I'm telling you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this. This is how we're going to build this coalition, this community. I want people in here that don't think like me and Doc Cottle and Don and John think. I want them to be on the other side of the platform. You hear what I'm saying? And you may be one of those people. Don't get mad if somebody says something today you don't agree with. Don't get mad if he says something last night that you don't agree with. Just hang in here with me. Just hang in here with me. Don't bail out on me. Are y'all still with me? Don't bail out, because you might, if you walk long enough, you might learn something you didn't know. Because I don't care. There are scientists out there that say life doesn't start until a baby is born. Now, I don't believe that, but I'm not a scientist. Y'all got to stay with me. I'm going to make you mad. I don't even care about it. Now, I have made abortion my number one voting deal, right? But I'm rethinking my constitution of how and why I do what I do. I'm not saying you should. I don't care. I'm just telling you, I want to bring people in our community that think on a different term than we think, because I don't know everything. Doc probably knows most things, but he still doesn't know everything. Right? We got to be open. Everybody say open with me. Open. We just got to be open. Is that okay? Is that all right? That's who we're becoming, y'all. That's who we're becoming as a coalition. We're going to build, listen, we're going to build kingdom life leaders. Life leaders. Life, not preaching leaders. We got enough of those. Well, I'm good on that piece. We're good on that piece. We got that down to a science. We know I can teach you how to prophesy. We got all that stuff down. We need life leaders out in the spaces of the world. Not you're anointed and I bring you back into my four walls of my church. Am I still okay? Is everybody, are y'all mad at me now? Y'all want to leave? No? Okay. But this is what we're going to be about. This is what we're going to be about. Raising kingdom life leaders to go and do what? Do good. That's it. Here's the gospel summed up. Go about and do good. That's a little too simple, but this is it. You get into the political realm, you get into the business realm, you get into the educational realm, go do good. Go and do good. Does that make sense? He went about doing good. He went about doing good. John, come up here. I got to sit down. I'll keep going for days and days. Is that okay, everybody? So if you hear something today, that twists you up inside, because I'm probably going to say something that make you a little upset, that's okay. Hang with me. We grew up in a different era where we fought and argued, but we were always family regardless. And that's what we have to be as Ekklesia to get where we're trying to go. Are y'all still tracking? We cannot bail out when we don't like the color of your new Mercedes. Whatever. Am I making sense, y'all? Because in order to deploy kingdom life leaders, somebody gonna vote different than you vote. It doesn't mean they're not saved, y'all. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. We got to be okay with that. Come and reason together. It's what we're here to do. Come reason together. I don't need to preach and prophesy to y'all and all that stuff. That's not what we're here in this room to do. I want you to get it. We're going to build a community of a coalition that we have different mindsets. Don't bail out on us for that. Okay? Go, John. I'll keep going. Thank you, guys.